Hello everyone, it is me, Uzuki Tomoya, your resident marshmallow bunny rabbit from Tsunderia. How are you guys all doing today? Hello. If some of you guys haven't noticed yet, I actually purchased, well, I haven't talked about it yet, but I actually have a new microphone today, so I didn't really have time to set up all the settings, which is also a little bit of why I'm running a little bit late. But it should sound a little bit smoother. Probably not very noticeable, but for me, it'll definitely help cut out a lot of the background noise, so I hope you're all ready. What did I upgrade to? So I went from using my Aston Spirit onto my Shure SM7B, or I should say my new Shure SM7B. So yeah, it's a dynamic microphone, so it should cut out a lot of the extra room and background noise in my room. And keyboard sounds, no more. But I'll still be using my condenser microphone for recording just because it's that good. You can hear your thoughts now. My thoughts? Ooh, I don't know if you want to hear that. But yeah. No, it's very smooth. So ooh, I'm very excited to try recording on it. Voice sounds deeper. Yeah. It should be a lot more podcasty sounding, a lot more rounded out. So I hope you guys like actually hearing the low end of my voice now, because it was definitely not capturing as much of that low end or not bringing it up. So I hope you're ready, I guess. I hope you like it. Who knows, I might go back and forth every now and then depending on the stuff, but if it sounds good, it sounds good. But before we get into everything, I would like to welcome in everyone who's taken the time to stop by today. Thank you so much, Cloudy Lavender, Knights, Hyodenji, Mercenary Badu, Perpy, Esperlo, Demon Mask, Kaiju Maru Faya, Shikuda, Marley Ramirez, Nay, Alex Uchiha, Persephone Mintishi, as well as Choco Milk Tea Voidroid, and am I missing it? And Nay, of course. And let's see, Pop Downer as well, Era, Hyodenji, I might have already gotten you, Omega Ultima, and Michael Doan, Anon, Maxter. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of you guys here. Wow. Zabalisk. I really hope I didn't miss anyone. Razor Wind. Thank you so much for stopping by. Xio, it does sound good? Oh, thank you. Your thoughts, save them. Will do. Alex Uchiha, will do. But yeah, I think that should be everyone. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about the mix I did for my most recent duet cover, which if you haven't seen it yet, is a duet with Virion Kisei from My Holo TV. He's another corporate male VTuber, and he is very cool and he sings amazingly. So I'm actually going to create a little pin with the cover. If you haven't seen it yet, please go check it out. We worked really hard on it and it turned out really nicely. So I hope you all like it. So I'm just gonna link it in the chat here. And here we are, Magnet duet with Rion. And we're just going to pin that one right there. So yes, please go check that out if you are interested. The Slime can sing. Yeah, the Slime is an insane singer. I think he's a better singer than me in some ways. So please go check him out if you haven't already. He's absolutely fantastic and so funny. Also, NSNL, welcome in. Kontomo, thanks for coming through anyways, even if you couldn't come to the premiere. I really appreciate it. But yeah, type out the ship name, Tomorion. Tomorion forever. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know. It's crazy that it's his first real cover. I don't know why that is, but I'm glad I could be his first. Don't tell him I said that. But yeah, so let's see. I actually have some notes written out. Some notes written out about what I wanted to talk about. So let me quickly pull this up just to make sure I'm yes, that's what I was going to talk about today. So, yeah, I'm gonna switch right over. You can see the music production view, and we can talk some more about it. Here we go. All right, so we have our project file right here loaded up, and I think it would be if you I don't even know where to start actually, but I think it would be good just to listen to kind of how it sounds completely raw, and then we can turn things on slowly, and you can hear kind of the change over time. So I'm gonna turn everything off, and y'all can listen to our magnet cover and how it came in, basically. The lines are timed in tuned. I did quite a bit on the timing. You can see, if you zoom in here, or let me pull up the chat so I can see it. If you zoom in here, you can see I have quite a few stretch markers because my vocals aren't perfectly aligned. I have my time grid here, so you can see I'm more or less in line with the metronome. And yeah, there's quite a few stretch markers around, so it's just tidying up things. What's really important with mixing a duet is you really want to make sure your vocal lines are aligned, because otherwise it's going to sound kind of like weird if like you're kind of not really singing at the same time. And realistically, I wouldn't consider it cheating, because it's one thing if you're singing in the same room at the same time as someone, you can like hear them and like sing together with them. But if you're recording basically like completely separate, it kind of makes sense that there's those little like micro differences in like aligning things, especially if you don't like practice together. So I think it's fine that there's all this timing going on. It's pretty usual and pretty standard. But yeah, without further ado, I'll play it completely raw from the beginning, and we can hear how it sounds. Let me know if the volumes are okay, by the way. Oh, it should be a bit quiet actually. Let me bring it up. So this is completely raw. No effects on. It's very different. Oh, these are also tuned. So Rion did the tuning for his own lines, and I did the tuning for mine. And I adjusted some of his tunes. But for the most part, it's basically how they did it. Oh gosh, the peaking. Oh, it's so loud. We can also skip to the end. Oh gosh, it's lagging. Hold up, let me let my computer catch up a little bit. I'm gonna tweak the settings a little bit. I don't know why it's lagging, but let's try this. I hate it when it does this. Okay, well, it's kind of glitching a little bit. Let's bring it down to 24-bit maybe. And it should be good. This should be good. Yeah, my poor computer. I don't know what really causes these buffer issues, to be completely honest. Also, welcome in, Raft is Trash. No worries. What is good? We are showcasing the mixing. I'm gonna tweak the buffer size slightly, and that might do something. No, that made it worse actually. 1028. Okay, we'll do 248. Let's try this. Oh, there we go. I fixed it. I that's enough of that. So then I'll kind of go in and like start turning some things on. So really to hear how it transforms, I want to make sure I mute all the background vocals, and we can kind of hear what individually happens to the things as things come on. So also the cover was beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah, you are seeing the hard work in action right here. So let's go into the effects. Let me make sure my my effects window is set up properly here. Let me just crop this thing down. Yeah. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay. So we have our effects window here. There's quite a few things I have, and so I'm just going to turn them all on, and we're just going to go through them individually. Oh, this window is going to shrink and grow as I tweak it, so let's just be careful with this. And there we go. Okay, so this is basically our floating effects window. So we're going to start with the deplosive, which really isn't that important compared to a lot of the other things, but let's just hear the sound. Honestly, the real reason I have this deplosive on is because Rion kind of plosives into the mic sometimes, and so this is there to kind of, I mostly put it on for him, and then I was like, you know what, to be standardized, to be safe, I'll put it on my voice as well. So this is kind of what it's there for. So versus it's like slightly more subdued. Now we'll put on the auto tune, which kind of just makes it a little bit more consistent. And it's very subtle, but it's applying some pitch stabilization. Now we'll put in our little transient inducer, or transient pumper. It's not doing anything because Rion's singing right now. I should turn these on at the same time for Rion, actually. Actually, I'll just play my part. So, put on EQ here. Compression. Compression 2. Compression 3. Compression 4. Multiband compressor. And then saturator. So those are my effects. Let's go through a little bit faster and see how they sound on Rion. So we're just going to turn these off, and we're going to go one by one. The deep plosive isn't really that important, so we'll keep it off. Auto-tune, a little bit more filled out sounding. Transient inducer, it's a bit punchier now. EQ, shave out some of that thickness in the middle. Compressor 1, compressor 2, compressor 3, compressor 4, multiband, and saturator. So that's kind of how the basic effects come on. So it's pretty cool. You just kind of get that punch coming into the vocals. They get cleaned up a little bit and sharpened up a little bit, especially in this section here. All these effects are coming in, and it's making it just a little bit sharper, you know. It hits different. Indeed it does. Indeed it does. Then I'm gonna start putting on some of the group effects I have on the main. So let's hear how those sound. So, here we are. All right, so what I did here was I put on a little bit of an EQ dip, so shave out some of the middle of the voice, a little bit doubling, make it a little wider, and we'll put on the imager here to make it wide. Oh wait, no, this isn't doing anything. This isn't doing anything because I have it off. Here we go. Let's try that again. Shave off a little bit of that low end there. Let's try that again. Make it wider. And then we have our imager going on, which is spreading things really wide. More saturation. And a modulator, which is like spreading things out even more. So that's kind of what I like to do in my group effects. I just kind of apply things. I'll go through it again with it off in some of these other sections. So, no kind of group effects on. This is kind of just like some dry sound coming in, and it's like, it sounds good, but I want it to pop a little bit more. So it sounds a little bit poppier now. And so that's kind of how the mains come in. But obviously the song doesn't really feel full yet. There's a lot missing from it. So let's bring in the harmonies. The harmonies basically shape up the same way that the mains do in terms of the effects. But the main difference with the harmonies is actually it's kind of using the same stuff, but I have an extra delay on them. So I'll show you guys kind of the before and after on the delay on the harmonies. And the delay kind of adds this space to the harmonies and makes them kind of float the main vocals on top of them. Also, welcome in. Hello. Thank you so much for stopping by. Unfortunately, I cannot read your name, but hello. I hope you're excited and interested to hear kind of about the technical stuff behind this cover. But yes, okay, so I'm going to pop open this window here. These are my harmony delay settings. So you can kind of see them in their glory. Yeah, that kind of fits the window. So this is kind of the harmonies coming in without the harmony delay on them, and we're gonna add on the delay now. So now they kind of sit behind the vocals a little bit more. Fridge, your name is the greatest Fridge. Oh, that's great. I like your name. So kind of like, you hear like the dut does kind of sound like normal, and now they're pushed back a bit more. And just that kind of pushing back is like what really brings out the main vocals and puts the harmonies, I guess, on a separate level. And it just glues it together so nicely. So off, on. You may or may not be able to hear it. It's really subtle. It's only on like 13%, but it's adding just enough of what I like. Okay, I'm not gonna turn on the ad-libs because there's nothing really special I did with that. Next, kind of, I put everything through another compressor just to make it a little bit, all the vocals like a little bit more tight together. So let's hear how that sounds with this on. Turn this off. Yeah. So compressor off right now. And compressor on. Sounds a little bit smoother now. And now we'll turn on the reverb and delay. Kind of made everything a lot more quiet. I don't really know why, actually. I shouldn't do that. But it did it. So, the reverb and delay kind of makes it sit more in the mix now. You really like the da-da-da from the Clear and Dansoko cover? Oh yeah, honestly, we were inspired by that. I was like, hey Rion, you want to do this? This is like my favorite cover of it. Please, can we add this? And he was like, oh yeah, sure. So I'm really glad we did that because it turned out really nicely. It's so cool. It really adds that hook to the song, you know. I don't know why that just made everything quieter. That really shouldn't have, but let's see. Wait, how does it sound with that? Oh, I know why it sounds... It's okay. The reason it sounds a lot quieter is because I had all the reverb and delay on coming through, but like usually what this is called is this is like a bus. So it's like playing the signal at the same time underneath the other sound. And so when I turned all the reverb and other things off, it was basically just blasting the vocals through like 4 different tracks at the same volume, or like to stack up the volume. And then when I turn those tracks into the actual reverb that it's supposed to be, it gets a lot quieter because they disappear. So that was a mistake. I'll know to pay more attention to that next time. But yeah, so that's kind of the reverb effects and what they bring on. So this is kind of more how it sounds without reverb. And we bring in the reverb. And now it kind of glues in a bit more. Now, I like to do a little bit of mastering on the vocals, which I'm not going to show because it's not that important. But I basically just DS a little bit, and I put some frequency cutting. So let's hear how that sounds. It kind of just darkens it a little bit and smooths it out. And the last thing I want to kind of go over is, in terms of effects, will be mastering. So, I've adjusted my mastering a little bit here. I kind of used like a little bit of a, what is this? A cheat, which is this tonal balance adjustment. Let's turn the mastering on so you can kind of see what it does. This is the tonal balance control from iZotope. And what it does is it takes your total, oh my god, it's so much louder now. But it takes your your audio spectrum, like your frequency spectrum from your entire mix, and it compares it to a bunch, like basically the standard across the industry for all these different genres. So for example, you can pick between, as you can see in the corner here, country, EDM, folk, hip hop, blah, 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 blah. And I consider this kind of a pop song, so I chose the pop spectrum. And kind of what I try to do is I try to use EQ here to adjust the spectrum so that it kind of fits. There's still like a little bit of high end here. Let me just move this a bit. This here is a little bit higher than it should be. I wanted to put it in to kind of match the original cover. Oh, what is the ER in the reverb delay bus? Oh yeah, great question. Let me pull that up. So ER is basically, it's something I read one time. It's basically, I've divided my EQ and compression, or what did I say EQ and compression? The reverb and delay. I divide my reverb and delay into individual components. So I take the early reflections only using this one plugin I like to use, which is called Renaissance Reverb. And as you can see, I've maxed out the early reflections and I've completely ducked all the reverb. So this way I can tweak the early reflections alone so that I can hear only the sound of the ERs. So let's hear that solo and see how that sounds. And if we add in the tail here, you get that full reverb sound coming in. But this way you can individually tweak the balance and the volumes of it so that it's kind of smooth across the whole thing. Or appropriate, I guess. It gives you just a little bit more customizability to your sound. So that's what the ERs are. Yeah, magnet from the club bathroom. Yeah, and then those are basically I shouldn't say underlaid. They're overlaid. They're underlaid underneath the total sound of the vocals so that basically everything kind of sits together at the same table. Yeah, it's basically custom reverb. But yeah, so my tonal balance control, the mix is a little bit bright, and upon listening to it a little bit more, I actually kind of agree with this. I should have ducked it down a little bit, but in my folly, I decided to brighten it up a little bit. And so listening back, if there's something I would change, I'd probably go into the equalizer here, and I'd just bring this down like a little bit more. So let's see, how does this, where is it? Yeah, here we are. I just probably bring down this section slightly. Yeah, it's around the 6 to 10K is a little bit too much. See, if you take that off, it's like really bright in your face. But now it sits a little bit more. Maybe not that much, but like this. And this is pretty broad. I would just tighten it up a little bit. I'd do something like this probably. And there it kind of glues in a little bit more. I wish I had done this actually. I just one change could have saved me a little bit of a headache on this, but it is what it is. So as for the rest of my mastering, I also have I use this plugin called Master Rebalance from Ozone as well. And it's quite, I'm not really familiar with it, but I'll take it off and show you guys how it sounds. But basically, I'm using it to push the vocals forward a little bit more. The vocals are just more in your face, and it feels good. Take it off. And they're really blended. And now it really feels like, you know, they're singing at you. And finally, for my mastering chain, is a little bit ashamed to say this. Actually, no, I'm not even. Oh no, wait, I missed this part. A little bit ashamed to say this, but I did use the the mastering assistant in Ozone 9 for this one. Basically, what I like to do is the mastering assistant is kind of like a smart assist, and it takes an input from a track, and you can scan it, and then the mastering assistant will try to balance your track to sound similar to the other track. Kind of sussy, not gonna lie. It's a little bit of a cheat, but trust me, it's really nice. So basically what it guessed for me was, let's put on a slight EQ that's ducking down the highs and bringing up, or sorry, you can't really see the EQ. It's ducking down the lows a little bit, and it's boosting the highs, the shiny part, a little bit. Then we have another vintage EQ. I don't really know what this one's doing, to be completely honest. I'm looking at it, and I'm seeing like nothing being touched anywhere. Maybe like this low cut is slightly here, but nothing else is really touched, so And then finally we have a limiter, which is kind of just, this is kind of a standard thing. It's just bringing up the overall volume of things. Use something similar a lot in video editing. Oh, how interesting. Is it kind of like color correction in some ways? That'd be interesting. But yeah, you can see on the, just like this threshold is kind of just pulling up from this level a little bit more. And then I have another maximizer here, which is just checking those peaks a little bit, pumping the mix a bit more, and really tying it all together. And actually, what this is, why I have this, pause it so you can hear me. The reason I have this this second maximizer slash limiter here is because I'm actually using the mastering rebalance after, you know, I master it. So after I remaster it and make the vocals a bit louder, I like to, you know, make sure I'm like catching all the peaks that have been induced by bringing the vocals a little bit more more to the front. So it's just like you know, I don't think a lot of people use two limiters on their mix, but I think it is an interesting strategy that I employed for this one. And it's on the pumping mode because I really want, I don't know why I put it on the pumping mode, to be completely honest. I just thought it would be cool, I think. Or it's just a copy from the mastering assistant. Hazumi, thank you so much for stopping by. Aww. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, it's all an amalgamation of hard work and time and learning. So I'd say it's more of a skill than a talent at this point. But thank you. I hope you enjoyed the duet if you've heard it. If not, please go check it out. Thank you for stopping by. So that's kind of all the effects going on in this mix. I am going to keep the ad-libs off, because if I turn them on, it's going to lag my computer when I play it. It's already slightly lagging. A little bit of another thing I just did, I actually tweaked the instrumental a little bit. I forgot about this. I have a little bit of a multi-band compressor going on to push down on the center of where the voice sits into the instrumental. So I'm pushing down on the instrumental to make some space for the vocals using this thing. So I can actually show you what it sounds like without that. I'll just turn it off. Should be competing a little bit more with the sound. Turn it on. Now they cut through a little bit more. You can hear the vocals a bit. Off. That instrumental's really in your face, right? And just slightly, subtly bring it down. Ozone 9? Oh, Ozone 9's actually on sale though. It was like pretty on sale recently. It was like 90% off or something. So I recommend getting it when it's on sale because I got it for a pretty good deal. Let me see. How much does it cost now? It might no longer be on sale, but I grabbed it. And I definitely would say it's worth the purchase. Ozone 9 from MinatoP. I'm pretty sure. Where is it? Ozone 9 pricing. You can get it for. I didn't get the subscription. I got like one of the one-time purchase things, so it definitely it cheapens the price long term. Which one did I get? It might no longer be on sale. Yeah, I think I got. Oh, yeah, I think it's no longer on sale. It was like under. Yeah, okay. It was definitely more expensive. It's definitely more expensive now. I definitely got it for at least, I think it was like $100. It might have been $180. I'll have to check, but it definitely, check out for the next sale because the next sale, they do sales occasionally. And I remember Elements, Ozone 9 Elements was like $25 at one point, which is super affordable considering mixing. Yeah, is Elements enough? Elements is great. I highly recommend Elements. Yeah. But yeah, it was like $25, which was, well, I mean, for considering, like, if you do like a mix commission using that, your mixes will sound immediately better with Ozone 9. And for that price, yeah, definitely a steal. Yeah, there are a lot of offers this year, and MinatoP really is at the front of taking things to the next level with extremely generous deals. So if you do keep an eye out for that, if you find one, I highly recommend checking it out. The next thing I kind of tweaked on the instrumental was adding another compressor on. I felt like the instrumental itself felt a little bit dated in terms of like the way it was compressed. So I decided to add a preset that I liked and tweaked it a little bit. It's the Golden Transparency from FabFilter Pro 2. So this is with it off. And now it just feels a little bit more modern, like a little bit more tight. So off, on. Just feels like it's a little bit more, similar to the voice. And lastly, I have a soothe preset here. Which is just smoothing out the frequencies on the instrumental, making it easier for the voices to come through. Highly recommend Soothe too. It's a great plugin. If you can get it, it really, well, I'd say Ozone is a little bit better overall, but Soothe does some things that other plugins can never do. So it's one of my favorites. Okay, so that's kind of the large scale overview. And so I'm going to talk about some of the things that I did differently in this mix that are a bit unusual. So let's see, where's a good spot where I can grab a long solo line and kind of demonstrate some of the stuff that was going on. Let's see. One thing I decided to do that was really interesting is I'm using four compressors on the vocals. So basically what a compressor does I've explained this a few times, but just catching anyone new here. A compressor will kind of even out the dynamics of your audio. So it makes the loud parts quieter and the quieter parts louder. And then you can tweak it so that it does it really nicely. And different compressors kind of color the vocals different ways. And so I'd like to kind of try and mix and match to get the best color I like, my favorite color in the mix. And what I ended up doing for this mix was putting all my favorite colors in. So usually what I do is I only have 1 or 2 compressors, but I have 4 this time. So I can show you guys kind of how each compressor adds different colors to it. So this is the first compressor I use, FabFilter Pro C 2. I haven't gotten 3 yet, but basically this one's pretty aggressive and makes things pretty punchy, so I like it. It just kind of fills out a lot of space. So let's hear it. Just adding a little bit of that in. Sorry, let me play it with it off, so you can hear it a little bit more. Let me actually scroll so you can see the vocals, so I can see the vocals. Here we are. So all compression off. It just feels like a little bit dry, you know? So let's put it on. I'm gonna actually loop this section. It just feels like a little tighter now. And then we're gonna add the next one on, which is C1, which I like also. It's pretty aggressive, but it is like, it's bringing down that, like that really powerful belt. It's just taming it more. But I thought, I think this mix needs a little bit more punch. So I put on my favorite punchy compressor, which is, I guess all these are pretty aggressive. So CLA76. And now I really feel the mix like pumping. It's like, you can't imitate, but you know. And finally, I put on my smooth compressor, which is arc compressor. And it just kind of sits it back, tames that harshness from the 76 a little bit. And I can actually showcase how each of these individually sound. So nothing on this pass. Also Joshua, thanks for stopping by. I'm feeling pretty good. Mixing and other things. So no compression. We'll just add on the C1. It's just, it tames that, but it's not as aggressive as the C2. See the CLA? This one's very subtle. And then this one's the smoothest of them all. The most transparent, but probably one of the most important because it just smooths, it just ties everything together. Because if you have your vocals sounding too punchy, they're not going to really fit with the sound of the music, the instrumental. So I like to have compressors that smooth things out as well to kind of add not only the punch but also the groove. Would all the compression compete or cancel out some parts or something? Not especially. One risk you run with having a lot of compression is you can squish all the dynamics of the vocals. So like, then it kind of just sounds like everything is the same volume. There's no like push and pull to the voice or the sound. And so that's one risk you run with too many compressors. So it's less of them canceling each other out. One thing you do have to note is the attack and release. There's a method to the madness. The first compressor is pretty fast. The second compressor is decently fast as well because they're trying to catch those early transients. But if you look at how much gain reduction they're individually doing, this one's doing 3 dB of gain reduction to 4. This one's doing quite a bit. This one's doing almost 12. That's a lot. That's a lot. This one's only doing like 1 to 2, so it's really subtle. And this one's doing 3 to 5, which is also quite a bit. But overall, for like a really poppy song, you do want quite a bit of compression. And I always lean on the side of a little bit more compression than less, because I like how compression works. So, overall, you're probably getting 3 plus 10. 3 plus, how much is this doing again? How much is this doing? This is doing like 8, 6 to 8. So 3 plus 8, 11. 11 plus 2, 13 plus 5. 18 dB of gain reduction total. That's quite a bit. Usually I don't use that much. This is why I don't have that many compressors. But I wanted this song to really like sit in the mix, so it sounds hot. Also, Luna, thank you so much for stopping by. Oh my gosh, wait, I need to wrench you. Thank you for listening to the cover. Your gen mate is insane. I mean, you're insane too, but like, Oh my god, Rion's so hot. His voice, oh my gosh. I was listening, I'm like, oh my god, he's so good. He's so good. Underrated for sure. But thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you enjoyed the cover. Yeah, we really did put a lot into it. Oh my gosh. We're both hot. I don't know. Thank you. Oh man. But yeah, that's kind of how I approach the compression on this mix. One thing, like, oh, you know what I can do? I can show you guys some of the earlier mixes. They're not going to be in the program themselves because I don't remember exactly like what I turned on and what I turned off. But I can show you guys how different parts sounded. How it kind of sounded through all stages, and I think that'd be really interesting to hear. So the first one I have is just the time tune. Let's just play it here. I'll play the end. That's the big part. This is just raw. And then this is mix 1. I don't know what I was doing with mix 1, but I think it just sounds a little vocal heavy. That's why I didn't like it. Too much reverb too. It's like, feels very in your face. And then I mixed 2. It's a little less in your face, but there's a lot of reverb. And it's a little bit muddy. There's like a little bit coming through. Or like, I can't make this out. It's a little bit blocky. It needs some cutting out of some problem frequencies. Mix 3 is where it starts shaping up a little bit more. Now it's kind of popping, you know. This one is probably one of my favorites. And then mix 4, I don't know what happened to mix 4. Let's hear it. Oh, I lowered the reverb a bit on this one. And I made the vocals a little bit brighter. So they're less thick, but they're a little bit drier. And then lastly, we have the current mix. Which is slightly brighter. Slightly brighter and the vocals are a bit more forward. The mix overall is a bit louder. Not gonna lie, I kind of like mix 3 a little bit more. No, but the vocals are a bit underneath the instrumental. But it also could work, you know, either way works. Honestly, mixing is a mixed bag. Sometimes you like your mixes, sometimes you wish you did something different. I kind of like the mix 3 a little bit more because it sits a bit back a little bit more in hindsight. And my tendency is to go vocal heavy. And then whenever I see the video, I feel like, oh my gosh, the vocals are so in your face. Because when you're like seeing the pictures, your brain is like processing the sound anyways. Or you're like reading the lines and you're kind of listening for the voice anyways. So sometimes you don't need the vocals so much in your face. But it is what it is. Honestly, one thing that I like to do, if I have the opportunity to, this one is kind of like a little bit rushed at the end. I like to like listen to the mix while watching the video, and like if things stand out to me, because you hear things differently when you're like watching something, because you're less focusing on your ears and more like the whole I guess production. So when I like to watch the video and like listen to everything while I'm watching the video, and then different things will peek out to me and I'll be like, oh shoot, I really got to duck that down. Oh, I really should have done this. I should do this. And then if I get a chance, I can swap out the mix and the audio and stuff. So yeah, there's that. Let's see. What else is something very interesting that we did? Oh, one thing that's interesting in the scripting, actually, you'll see it here at the end. We actually go from Let's wait for it to play. We go from each of us is singing a line, you know, we're both singing together. Still both singing together. And then what we did here is both of us sung the chorus and we recorded 2 different takes. So it's a bit more full from both of us. So Rion's singing this twice, I'm singing this twice, and it just like adds that last push kind of like width to the mix. So that's something really cool we decided to do in the script. I don't know why we decided to do it, but it just happened. So I think that was really cool and a really cool choice. I might do that again sometime. One thing that's also interesting is usually when I double or when I like do doubles like these, I'll pan them left and right to kind of give an actual like spread stereo. But for this one, I decided not to. And the main reason for that is actually for the harmonies. Usually I'll record double harmonies. So I'll have two tracks of this and I'll pan one left and pan one right. So you kind of get this wide feeling. But for some reason, I didn't ask for that. I think I felt bad asking Rion to record doubles. So I decided not to. And we just have one harmony. And so because of that, it felt a little bit weird to spread the mains and not spread the harmonies. And so I can actually show you guys how it sounds if I spread the mains and don't spread the harmonies. Let's just put these arbitrarily like at like 34 or something, 38, and like Rion at 100. And you'll hear how it sounds. It sounds weird. Like it's wide, but the transition is weird from like this here. It's cool, you know. It could have been, but I don't really like it so much. I like what we did because you want the last chorus to be like building off what you already have, not really changing the sound as a whole. And so I felt like changing the sound as a whole there wasn't really the good choice. But adding something different to make it sound cooler was a good choice, so I'm glad I did that. There's that, and then one thing that's also really interesting is I have kind of 2 different imager settings for the chorus or the verses and the mains. So let me pull up the thingy again, the effects window. You can see for my chorus imager, this is my verse imager. Let's see, yeah, we're at the verse. It's a little bit, well, these are the settings, this is the verse imager. You can see everything is like, the width for everything is cranked a lot less. And then when it goes to the chorus, everything gets wider. And so what I do is when it goes from the verse to the chorus, I turn one on and turn one off, and vice versa, so you kind of get that difference in sound quality, so that the chorus sounds different than the verse. And I can actually show you guys how it sounds if we don't have this, and then how it sounds when we do have it on, and where kind of that difference lies. Let me go back a little bit more. So this is no imaging at all. Still sounds good, right? Well, let's add on the imagers and hear how that sounds. Just feels a little bit more poppy, a little bit more spread, a little bit more modern. And I think that's cool. But to be honest, it's not to everyone's taste. So certain mixers may opt out of using imaging or tactics like this if they don't want their mixes to sound as processed as I like them to sound. But yeah, that's kind of how I like to approach my imaging for this mix. Is I do it for some mixes and some I don't. I just thought it sounded nice on this one. So yeah. Another thing, let's see. Is there anything else I would like to talk about on this one? I think one other interesting thing is the modulation I added. I don't always use a modulator, but I decided to use one this time. So this is kind of how it sounds. Let me turn it off. It just adds that more modern sound slightly. And I think I have it off. I have it off for the first chorus, actually. I have it at 0%. And then it goes on. Let me see if I can zoom in so I can show you guys. You can't really see it. Actually, if I bring this up a little bit, you can see it's at 0% here, and then at this part it goes on to 4%, and then it goes down to 0, and then at the next half it goes down up to 4% for the rest of the song. So it's really, really small. Yeah. This is where it'll kick on here. Turned it off, so it's just like slightly. And I can actually crank this and hear how it sounds when you fully crank it. It's like adds a little bit of that in. But when you put it on subtly, it just adds that extra popness. So I think that's cool. Also, I'm cool. Oh, thanks, Shiguda. I'm just a nerd. But yeah, the Blue Frog Imager, I've not heard of that one. Now, if I watched SMG4 and Ghostbusters Afterlife, I've not, unfortunately. Unfortunately not. But, unfortunate. But maybe one day. Maybe one day. Anyways, let's see. Is there anything else I can really talk about? Oh, I accidentally still have the panning on from earlier. Let me just take that off. Take this off here. Should be fine now. But yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, another thing is our breathing is really loud. One issue you have when you have like 4 compressors is it brings out everything that's really quiet. So all your breaths get really, really loud. So what I did is every single time I breathed, I individually went into the track and lowered it by 9 decibels. So, or like 9 to 12 to 20 decibels just to make it quieter. So I'm going to remove that and you can hear how freaking loud and like in your face the breaths are. Let's go to the chorus here. This should be pretty
It's
or here. Don't mind the lag. It's like, it's very distracting. And I think at the last chorus it's really noticeable because we're both breathing. Yeah. Really gasping there. So that's something to keep out for. It is a simple fix or a straightforward fix, but it is a lot of work. So it takes a long time. You like the breathing? Yeah, the breathing is still there, but it's just brought down, so it's like less noticeable. It's less in your face. It's a lot. It's a lot. You can still hear it, but it's like much quieter. Less distracting. Yeah, really do have to comb through everything. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, the amount of work, but yeah. Also, Rin, thank you. Oh my gosh. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for liking the cover. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we worked very hard. And Rihanna's so hot. Like, actually though, oh my gosh. Also, Luna, your ears are insensitive, but it's good. I'm glad. Yeah, honestly, it's really subtle, this stuff, but yeah. Oh yeah, we did warm up. I always warm up before I like do serious recording. So I'm pretty sure, I don't know if he warms up, to be completely honest. He might just be so naturally talented that he doesn't need to warm up, but I do. So he's incredible. But yeah, oh my gosh. Like, I heard his lines and I had done some of mine and I was like, oh my gosh, no, I sound like I'm dead. He has so much passion and like phrasing in his lines that I'm just like, I need to sing better. I need to pay attention. So yeah, like for example, this original part, let's see how it goes. I think I sung it. So I like put a staccato on the kabosoi higa. Usually when I used to sing this, I like didn't really think about it, but I just go kabosoi higa kokoro no ashi ni tomoru. It's just very much like, but it's like kabosoi higa kokoro no ashi ni tomoru. It's a lot more fluid now, and because you hear him go and he's like, he's very French. He's like, he's not Toby Mawari. He's like, whoa. He like backs off on that. And I'm like, it's very much like, if I were to sing, I'd be like, watashi no chou fukisoku ni tobi mawari like, he has like this like this breathiness to it. He's like crooning it out. I'm like, oh man, I gotta, like, I didn't want to take away from my voice because I wanted that duality of the dynamic, right? Like, I could copy him, but I decided, okay, well, I'm gonna phrase it more with like my like power a little bit more. So it's like, would be how I do it, and it's like, yeah, I really channeling it. Yeah, like I'm like powering, right? Like, there's that one line, but how's it go again? Versus he goes like, let me find where he does the same line. Where is it? Wait for it. He's like da. He like croons it out versus like he's like a little bit more. It's just smoother, you know. So I really like that duality that comes in with both the vocals and just like, you know, the characters and everything that's going on. So it's funny. I think he sent it to a bunch of his friends when it was in the mixing stage, and everyone said he was the bottom and I was the top. Which is usually not how it is. So it's like, they're like, oh my God. He's like, I can't believe I've been betrayed like this. If I were to say it how he would say it, he'd be like, I am the top. I am the top. Why are you the... I love that man. Man. So, but no. I am the top now. The power. But yeah, that's all I have to say about this mix. I think I've kind of wrapped it up. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them, though it is quite technical, so I understand it's like very hard. It's like, what? How'd you do all that kind of thing if you're just kind of coming in with it. So yeah, that's just kind of the overview. He asked me, and you said, no, you definitely sound like a bottom. Wait, that's too funny. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Luna, you know what's up. Thank you for believing in me. How long have I been mixing for? Let me see. It's 2022 right now. So I think 2017 is when I started. So it's about 5 years since I started. But I've had a lot of help. I had mentors and stuff, and they really helped. It's one thing I think the thing with mixing with me is like, I always try to do something different, or like I look up YouTube videos and I like try to find out things that are, I guess like different things that I could do with my mix, like how to make mix pop. And like over time, people release new tutorials, right? So you're always like finding the new hottest video and stealing their information. I mean, using their tips. So that's kind of how I've evolved my mixing. But if you use the same strategy every time, I mean, it's fine to do that. But I feel like if you don't like experiment with different things, you'll never find out what could sound better or what could sound worse, or you know, how to change things, how to adapt your style to be more flexible. Because if you also only learn how to mix one type of song or one type of voice, you won't be able to mix for other people and duets and stuff. So, or you'll struggle with it, or you'll sound really good and your duet partner will sound like poop. So I think it's always good to challenge yourself with trying new things when it comes to mixing. But yeah, that's kind of the scoop on my mixing philosophy. Yeah. How to mix pop, how to make it pop. Indeed. But yeah, what's my favorite part of mixing? The final product. I like the part where it comes out and I'm like, oh, it sounds so good compared to how it used to. Honestly, I feel like mixing makes recording much more enjoyable because I'm like, oh my god, it all came together. It's so cool. Otherwise, if you had to ask me specific parts that make the mix sound the coolest, it's probably when the first saturator comes on and the mix starts sounding really sharp. That's where I really like, oh my god, it sounds really good. That's probably the biggest part. Because when you're mixing it, like, and it's all coming together piece by piece, like you're kind of like, it's like you're fumbling in the dark. You're like, am I gonna get to where I'm like trying to go? Is everything gonna work out? Like you're kind of crossing your fingers and going along. And then kind of once those like the first things come onto the raws, like you get your compression on and you're like, ooh, that sounds good. And you put on you're like, oh, that sounds compressed. You don't necessarily know if it fits yet. And then you tweak your saturation. Your saturation makes the vocals sound like totally different. That sounds really cool. And then kind of what I like to do is I go back and tweak the compression and EQ and stuff after I have all the effects on to kind of make things sound more appropriate. Because at first I'm just compressing to compress to make sure like I can get an idea of how it will sound. And then after I compress, after I've kind of gone through making the whole mix kind of finished, then I'll go back and say, well, was this the right choice with compression? Like, okay, it sounds compressed, but can I make this compressor sound different? Can I like make the mix sound better with more compression or less compression or different type of compression, different attack and release settings and whatnot? How close was the mix to the way I envisioned it? I think, well, I kind of said already, I think it's a little brighter than I hoped. And the vocals are a little bit more forward than I envisioned. And so I would like to change that. I like mix 3 the most still, the one that I didn't use. But I'd say it's pretty close overall in terms of the biggest thing I was thinking when I mixed this was like, I want to make Rion and me sound like really bright and like sharp and like hot. So most important was to make the vocals in the front, put the vocals in the front, make them sound very, very poppy and very, very much like, I guess sexy. I don't know. So versus like smooth, untouched, and like unfilled out. Also, welcome in, Carrot. Thank you so much for stopping by. Mixing God, sharing his knowledge. I don't know about God, but thank you so much for your amazing artwork on the cover, by the way. It looks so cool. So sexy. And I'm so happy. Oh my gosh. It couldn't have turned out better. Thank you so much, Carrot. You're so cool. You are the mixing, or not mixing, sorry, you are the art god. I bow down. I cannot draw. Oh my gosh. This is hot. I'm glad it came across. Oh man. Did I sleep on it before I finished mixing? Oh, I slept many nights. Like what I would do is I actually went to bun duties and I was like looping the mix in my ears and I'm like, I mean, it was on like AirPods, so it's not like the greatest sound, but it's like too much reverb. And that's kind of where I made the decision, okay, cut down the reverb quite a bit. Or like, could be brighter, could punch a little bit more. And so I listened to it and I sleep on it. I think I slept on it like 2 different days of like having a finished mix before, or like a pretty good mix before I like decided on the final one. I was like, okay, I like this. So yeah. But I hope it's not, I hope it's pleasant to listen to on the ears and stuff. Very sexy. Yeah, boy. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad. But yeah, you've gotten interested in mixing only because I made it seem fun to do, and now you're taking notes. Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, a lot of people like kind of see mixing just as like an evil, like a necessary evil. You know, you sing your song and then you want to post your cover, right? But oh no, you have to do mixing. But I like to see mixing as like the part of the fun. You know, you get to turn something into something else. It's like alchemy. It's like magic, really. So yeah, I think if you come in with mixing and like as part of the adventure and not like, oh, I need to get it done with and over with, it's a lot more enjoyable and stuff. In the end, it sounded good. I'm glad. I'm glad. But yeah, if there's any more questions, or if there's no more questions, I think I'm gonna end the stream here because I think this has been a pretty good run on this. I kind of beaten it to death with all I can talk about. But yeah, trying to mix, and yeah, it's really fun listening to the changes. Exactly. Sometimes you tweak stuff and you're like, did that make it better or worse? And I think when you're at that stage, it's the most intimidating. But once you like do something and you're like, whoa, that sounds better. And as long as you're not second guessing, did I do like too much of that? I think that's the cool part. Oh man, a mixed god and bottom in this cover. Wonderful. Thank you, Fridge. Oh my gosh. That's funny, throwing him under the bus. The Rion slander is real. All right, mate. I guess it's the truth, not really slander. He's asleep probably, so he won't see this. You'll need to watch the VOD. No worries, Carrot. No worries. Hopefully there's some cool stuff. Feel free to skim through. You don't need to watch the whole thing, but yeah. I'm glad it was informative and entertaining, Sugar. I'm glad. All right. Yeah. Kind of different thing. Mixing challenge with only free server and plugins. Ooh, that'd be very interesting. I mean, Reaper's technically free trial, so I could do that. I could probably snag some free plugins. I'll have to find a good song for that. That'd be a really fun challenge, honestly. It'd be really fun to do that with Miori. Miori and like, yeah, probably the two of us could do like a mixing challenge and like side by side compare. I think that'd be such a fun and quirky idea. But yeah, honestly, Reaper's stock plugins aren't the greatest, so it's not really that much of a buff. I don't know. Yeah, Free Reaper's been on free trial for months. Yeah, I mean, the program Miori uses also isn't really, I think it's paid for too. It's Logic Pro, so. Or maybe that comes with something? I don't know. I have to look it up. But yeah. It's a free trial. Yeah, the thing with Reaper's, the free trial, it never expires. So, you can technically use it as long as you want. So it is a free resource for anyone getting into mixing. And when you feel like you've kind of made it back, you can pay it off like I did. But yeah, I think it'd be a really fun challenge. Honestly, it'd be cool to have a bunch of different songs, but it'd be long because mixing is a long process. I'll talk to Miori about it, but yeah. Yeah, you can always just click the X and close it. You didn't hear it here. Yeah. But please do support if you do like it, support the company. Is it complicated to use Reaper? I'd say Reaper's not super complicated, but it's very bare when you just open it up. Like, you need to know a lot of programs. It's kind of like, oh, the tracks are right there in your face. Let me just show you guys actually how a new project sounds, or how a new project looks. Let's not save changes. Let's just open up a new one. Let me just close this real quick. Oop, wrong thing. Just in case it pops something up. Okay. But when you open Reaper, it literally just looks like this. It's just entirely blank. And you're like, how do I do anything? So you kind of have to know, okay, you double click to create tracks. You click on this thing to set tracks to record and other things. You got to know like how to set up your things, set up your recording. But once you know how to do all that and you know, okay, I click on the effects here and it pops open a tab and you have to type in the text box to find the right things. Oh, I have to find out like how to stack effects and everything. How to like create folders. Like I highlight these two and I drag them underneath and it creates a folder, and then I'm gonna make another folder inside the folder, inside the folder, inside the folder, and then I can take things out of the folders. You just kind of gotta get a feel for it. And once you get a feel for it, it's really, really useful, and I'd say really easy. But yeah, you gotta get into the workflow. Also, welcome in, Soratonin channel. Hello. Feel bad when you open the program and it's like, want to purchase? Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, I would say it's like, remember, please only use Reaper for 60 days, and you just close it out again, and you're like, I'm sorry, Reaper, I gotta go, kind of thing. But yeah, Ghost Hauntsman, welcome in. Hello. Kontomo, thanks for stopping by. The bunny laughs are excellent through the new mic. I'm glad. Reaper's existence intimidates me. It just stares at you menacingly. Actually, Pop Downer, it's quite menacing, I would agree. But once you start getting the tracks in there, it's so nice. It's so nice. And once you get fluent with it, it's like there's so many useful shortcuts and different customizations you can do with it. You really get into creating your own unique flow with it. So it's really cool. But yeah, not everyone structures their projects like me. A lot of people don't. And so it's cool that you can kind of use your own creativity. I think the biggest thing about mixing and Reaper itself is the fluidity with being creative with your mixing. And so, yeah, that's kind of what draws me to it. Sakura, oh my gosh, thank you so much for stopping by. Too complex? No. It's as with anything, it comes with time, you know. You gotta learn it piece by piece. I obviously didn't use all my fancy plugins from the start. I just used EQ, compression, and reverb, and I was pretty bad at that. But once I slowly, you know, practiced, asked people for help, learned what they did, put everything they did on it, it all came together. So yeah, thank you so much for stopping by though. Let me mod you just to be safe. But yeah, no, it's really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. But yeah, I think I'm going to end the stream here. It was a fun explanation. Feel free to scroll through the VOD to see kind of what I did and shoot me questions, I guess, on the next mixing stream. I want to do a lot more of these and a lot more actually like doing the mixing itself. I just haven't recorded anything recently, so or recorded anything I can really just show to people. I do want to see if I can do some more collab mixing things, like showcase me mixing other voices as well along the way, but for now, that is to be decided on in the future. Excited for the next cover? Thank you. Next cover will be very cool, and I hope you're all ready for it. All right, with that, I will say goodnight, everyone. And I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you're looking forward to more things coming this week. There's some unarchived karaoke at the end of the week, Minecraft, Magic the Gathering, kind of some more of the standard stuff. So I'll see you all on the next one. Otsutomo, Otsumip, Otsupyon. And yeah. All right. Bye. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. Before you go, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We're almost to 100k subscribers, so if you could hit the bell and share, I'd really appreciate it. I post every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so I'll be sure to make it worth your time. Alright, that's all, my dudes. Remember, as always, love, peace, and weed.